All right. Hi, Dennis Forsberg, my trip to reality. Hello. Long time no see. Yeah. Um, I've taken sort of a break. There was one post where I ranted about AI because I got so freaking upset about it. Well, not had to say my opinion and stuff. But besides that, I've been away for a while, and I thought of just posting here again. My trip to Italy has always been some sort of journal, just like a teenage girl writing about her day. It's just been me pressing record instead of picking up a My Little Pony pencil and writing in a book. But yeah, um, so the first thing that I thought I would do is to give some sort of just what's been going on. So it's been about 4 years. I turned 30 4 days ago, and I can't feel more miserable, let me tell you. No, I'm good. I'm good. Not in denial, I promise. Uh, but yeah, so where we left off was, I believe, um, in 2019, I was unemployed for a while. Uh, and then after that, I got a job at an e-commerce uh, place where I was a photographer and videographer. Um, if any photographers are out there listening, um, usually these jobs are not that fun. All of these LinkedIn type of jobs where it's statistics there and data there and just products with plain white background and masking stuff out and all that kind of stuff. All those pathing experts that you get in contact with on LinkedIn. I'm not gonna say which country they're from, but if you're experienced with it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, it's bottom line is it wasn't that glamorous, not fun at all. Well, not fun. The thing is, I entered that job because I wanted to see what a photographer meant for e-commerce, for just any online shop really. Now with AI and everything, it's going a little bit. I don't know. People are viewing different options, I guess, and we might go get into that. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I saw the worth of a photographer, and a lot of people have in-house photographers nowadays, and it is bottom line is it's cheaper, and most of the time that's the reason why there's in-house photographers. Um, then there's also other reasons, but money speaks. Let's just put it that way. After 2 years, I felt like I didn't grow much. The company was shaking. The a lot of questionable choices were made left and right and stuff, and I felt, you know what, I don't feel heard, and and I don't feel like this is somewhere I wanna just continue my journey. And I just sort of applied to other jobs to see my worth. And let me tell you, if this is anyone out there with a job or not a job, but because someone told me that just apply for other jobs to see your value and see where you're needed. So I did that. I was like, yeah, sure. Because there I felt stuck. I felt like I have no place to go and I hope I have a job tomorrow. And just applying to other jobs and seeing where that can take you is very liberating, and it can feel really nice. So that's what I did. Someone picked up on it, a commercial photographer, which I then jumped on board. Now, there was some risk there, right? If you work for a company, then there's a lot of benefits to that, right? And there's also safety. It can also be very boring. Um, Compared to working for just one other person that has this brand and just company. It's also one photographer. I mean, I see myself like you sometimes, you barely make pay yourself, and then imagine if I also had someone on my payroll. Impossible, right? So there's that thing where he's like, yeah, you could go any minute, you know. 10 months later, that actually did happen. Lack of work, and therefore I got sort of, what do you call it? Not, well, fired, yes, but resigned due to lack of jobs out there. Um, 2 months I was just sitting rolling my thumbs. But during the time there, I was worked as a product photographer and some video, and I am experienced in most genres, and then you focus on others, like the ones that you're interested in. But product photography wasn't something that I was super experienced with. So I just kind of jumped into it, and my first job was for a Swedish brand called Kaya, and I was gonna photograph their perfume, Biso BSOU, and that was very cool. A little bit scary, but really cool, and it turned out great. And you saw it on their Instagram posts and their newsletters and stuff like that, and it looked. I mean, yeah, it was really cool to see that. And then I started working with other big brands through his name, but I did the sort of photography work, and then he has his own sort of photography stuff as well. But yeah, that was really fun. We were also in New York shooting for Clarins, and then in sort of assisting H&M shoots, and yeah, some cool like commercial shoots, assisting but also photographing it. All in all, great experience. What I feared, the whole safety thing. Yeah, I was right. But the sort of experience I got within those 10 months wasn't, you can't compare that to the sort of e-commerce thing. The e-commerce thing sort of weighs more when you apply for jobs, I feel like, to some degree. Because you're like, oh, I've worked with the marketing team, and I've worked with the content team, and I worked with the in-house buyers, and yada 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 yada. But yeah, so as of today, I am unemployed. By the end of the weekend, I have another interview, and I'm gonna get a reply from 2 jobs. We'll see how it goes. But until then, I'm sort of unemployed and going like, all right, what do we do? And right now, I'm just sort of looking at what I want to do and also what I can do. A job is a safety, right? So you need to have that. I'm also in a relationship, and you don't want to be unemployed while being in a relationship, in a sense of like you want to provide. You want to provide. You want to be a provider. It's pretty natural, I feel like. Um, so yeah, right now I'm doing like e-commerce uh sort of web tutorial thing. Well, it's like a workshop thing course that I bought, and specifically within drop shipping and stuff. And I get it, I know. As soon as you hear drop shipping, you go, "What the fuck?" Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Sort of broaden my view a little bit. I've never sort of been just fine with only doing 9 to 5. There's needs to be other outlets there as well. Being financially tied, living paycheck to paycheck, that's not a way of living. For some people it is, but for me it isn't. On another topic that is, I guess, well, more important for me personally, is that I've started photographing for my next project that I've been like that I've written notes for about 6 years. Reality Sets In, it's called. Maybe even longer than that. Yeah, actually longer. I did a purpose video that you can find on this channel. If you're listening to the podcast on Spotify or whatever, you can find me at Dennis Forsberg Photography on YouTube. It's called Purpose, and I've, for a long time, since I was a young boy, when I didn't have that much hair on my chin, facial hair, facial hair. I've decided I want to make people feel alive. If you listened to this before, or if you know me personally, you know that that's the type of person I am. I want to make people feel, and not feel emotions and stuff. And I want to do that throughout my life. And I've sort of structured it around where purpose is the first sort of video, but then I've thought of just having more of these videos throughout my life, explaining just how life has been, but also relating to it in a general scene where other people can see themselves in me when I'm documenting it, and to some degree make you feel like you're not alone. I feel you, but at the same time, tell a story of just how I am living life throughout, and hopefully that people can draw from that and take something from it and feel something from it. Yeah. Besides the whole video thing, Reality Sets In is gonna be a project that has been in the works for, again, about 6 years, a little bit longer maybe. There's on my phone notes. That's a lot of notes, and then there's also physical books with a bunch of notes. And Reality Sets In is gonna be a photography project, but it's also going to be in the sort of format that Purpose was, sort of self-documentary thing. The thing here, though, because when I made Purpose, I had made some photographs, but nothing that was current while I was making that video. And I felt, because the end of that video is, give me 4 walls and I'll do the rest, and then there was sort of lining up to that I'm going to show photographs, and I cannot start this video project without putting out actual images, because that would just be another video or a documentary about me not doing anything and feeling shitty for myself, and that's not a way to post stuff. You can do that, get sympathy, right, and also get hate, but I actually want to bring some sort of value to it. So with that I started photographing. I've done one before, a test shoot of another photograph that's called Delusional Dreamer. This one is called Swipe to Feel, and I wrote notes down from 2019, where sometimes when I feel a lot, I either record it on my phone just visually, like small clips here and there, or I write it down in my Reality Sets In notes. And it first, the photograph was first called Insert to Feel, because you insert a card, right? And then you get money out from an ATM, for example. In this case, to make it more modern, it's called now Swipe to Feel, because you swipe your card, you swipe your phone, and to sort of stay a little bit relevant with the photo and with the title of it. So there's gonna be a portrait of me looking. The facial expression should tell you emptiness, crushed, to some degree sad, a lot of darkness in the stuff that I create, but with that, there needs to be some positive stuff as well, because it's not all about bad. But if you take just storytelling as a whole, if you go from a dark place and then put the positive things in it, it has a sort of journey to it, right? In a photograph, there should be elements of both, I feel like. The facial expressions is definitely the negative, right? Feeling bad, feeling sorry for yourself, feeling crushed, all that kind of stuff. But the sort of positive element is still something that I need to insert. I'm not sure how. I'm gonna paint the picture of how the photograph looks like. Me staring into the camera, or just standing just a little bit above the camera, feeling empty, hollow, crushed, empty stare, maybe a tear in your eye, stuff. And then my left hand pulls away my shirt, not still covering nipple, but showing my chest. And at my chest, there's gonna be some sort of LCD screen or something, and there's gonna be like you can swipe to pay out, right? Like an ATM. My heart is an ATM, but I'm out of money. There should be like a display where it says like no balance or something, to just express what I mean and what I mean and what I wrote in the notes, not word for word now, but at a certain point in life I felt like I couldn't afford to feel because I was so stressed about thinking of money and having money and sort of just putting food on the table and stuff. And that sort of feeling where even the most basic humane thing to do is just feel is robbed of you because your wall is not thick enough. It's fucked up. And that's sort of what I want to express. That's what I felt. You can feel if you're rich or poor, but I just felt like I can't deal with this emotional thing right now because I have to worry about this. And that's pretty sad, and I think a lot of people can relate. Yeah, so that's the first photograph. And in the sort of documentary, I have scenes, I have visuals in my head of where and what I'm gonna construct and stuff. It takes time. And also with doing documentary stuff, it's like you need to have time happen to you. It always does, but what I'm trying to say is time has to pass in order for you to experience new things and then sort of relate back to it to people who want to watch it. But yeah, that's sort of where I am at right now. And I usually go for 20 minutes. I might go for 30. There's a thing when you start something. This is something that's also relatable to other people. I have idealized and visualized this project for so long to a point where I'm like, when I'm to some degree, I am fooling myself into thinking, but it's also the ego talking. Don't get me wrong. That when I put this out, it's gonna be one of the greatest things that's been put out in the world. It's gonna be a thing where it's like it's so big and it's gonna be responded with both kindness and also hate, but people gonna feel about it. And like I build this up, I hype this up in my head. To some degree, that's good because you have to believe in yourself, and I do believe in myself. But when you start this, because a lot of this is just visual, you visualized all of this, right? But then you're actually gonna do it. And then when you start doing it, you're like, oh, is it gonna be what I expected it to be? I can't answer that. The photographs that I visualized in my head might not turn out the way I imagined it. Nor will maybe the reactions that I visualized and thought might not be that. I'm okay with that. That can scare a lot of people off. Now, I've for a long time questioned if I am lazy, if I'm scared. I'm definitely not scared. I don't give a fuck about what people think. If I love something, then I'm gonna do it. Yeah. But the lazy part might have something to it. I'm not sure. But this is true. I know this for a fact. You have no idea. And you might not have any idea. Now let's go bold. You have no idea of what it is before you actually do it. And then when you do something, you slowly start to realize what it is. Instead of, I'm a genius of doing this, speculating, thinking this, thinking that, what about this, what about that, overthinking things for a long period of time. This project has been around for about 6 years, almost 9 years if I remember correctly. The Reality Sets In photography project was, I believe, created in 2015 when I landed in Stockholm again, feeling like a rock star because I just went out with a pretty high grade, some diplomas and stuff, feeling like a rock star. Okay, where's the photography jobs? And my first job was a salesman job. The fuck happened? I'm Tony Stark arriving at his Stark Expo and being like a rock star, and they're giving me jobs to work at McDonald's. What the fuck just happened? Oh shit! Reality sets in. And as a teenager, what you painted it out to be wasn't at all what it is. And now you have to deal with it. Living a little bit too much in a bubble, perhaps. Which can be dangerous, which I did. And when that bubble popped, I had to deal with it, and it was really hard. Yeah. But yeah, so that's sort of where it stems from, this whole project, I think. And it's very important for me that it's relatable to others, to make people feel. I feel like great art is something that you question, because if you question something, that means you care about it. If you care about it, you probably want to know more about it. And if you spend time on it, just whether that is watching a whole full movie and being totally immersed in it, or you're looking at a photograph at a museum, and or just a piece of work, art, painting, whatever it is, and you're spending like 5 minutes nowadays is long, right? What's the attention span? Let's face it, guys. How quickly do you scroll on TikTok? Yeah. Every single video of that could be something great. Most of it is not, because people are just putting stuff out to get views, to get money, and yada yada. But let's say you stand there for 5 minutes trying to figure it out, looking at the details. Something there grabs you. The artist, if it's a good artist, that person put stuff there intentionally, because they know how to make a good piece of art. Again, whether that's a movie, painting, photograph, whatever. And as long as you question it and you want to know more about it, then to me that's, and also if you feel and can relate to it. Now those things combined, questioning it, wanting to know more about it, feeling it, relating to it, those things combined, that's a great work of art, whatever that is. And that's the sort of stuff that I want to do. Right now, specifically, it is within photography and film. Yeah. I'm not sure if I want to start talking about AI or not. We might finish off on that. Maybe I should have started with it because it's interesting and grabs people attention, right? Well, I'll talk a little bit about it. We have another 5 minutes to go, so let's do it. AI in the beginning, when ChatGPT was released, scary shit. People from an e-commerce background was like, how can I optimize this? How can I utilize this to make more money? Yada yada. A lot of jobs sort of kind of to some degree disappeared. Not all people did this, but I mean there's definitely jobs being lost, 100%. Whatever you're gonna do now, the people who made this Sam Altman and those guys, I guess they're just shrugging, going, "Oh well, not our problem," and then just making more money out of it. That's kind of, yeah. You're just gonna, to some degree, evolve just humanity to some degree. Well, is it actually humanity anymore? But you're evolving the society, and that could be a good thing. But that's, if that's taking away jobs and that's taking away food on the table, it's horrible. But yeah, in a positive sense, because I've tried to look at it in both ways, and I'm guilty of using AI at the e-commerce store that, or brand that I worked at before. They asked me to generate AI backgrounds with the help of products. I did that. I spent 9 hours a day pressing refresh to find a suitable background, so we then can put it on the web. Kill me now. Holy shit, this is not why I studied photography. Then there's also certain tools within photography that is really good. Well, it saves you time. Now, one of these things, because I've tried to think of it in a positive way, and I've also asked ChatGPT, "Hey, are you here to take my job?" No, I'm just here to help. Yeah, sure, Terminator. I, I've utilized this in a positive way, and one thing specifically is quick selections. You can quick select something, and it can mask out a subject with a click of a button instead of you just going anchor points to anchor point. In that sense, it's really nice. Time efficient as well. So yeah, but let's face it, that to some degree takes away jobs from people who are doing masking paths and stuff like that. Because on LinkedIn, if you're a photographer, I mean, hey, I've gotten countless of offers of people from a certain country asking if they could just clip my photographs, clip layering and stuff like that, pathing and stuff. And I've never been interested because I can do it myself. But nowadays you can do it with a click of a button. That I think to some degree can hit. But you always need to find different angles and trying to sell your product or whatever you're selling in a different way. Finding solutions and stuff. Yeah. But all in all, I've tried to see it in a more positive way and seeing how I can use it. Because one thing that's one thing that's for sure is when we're witnessing this, the people who are just gonna put their arms, like just cross their arms and going like, fuck this AI thing, and just leave it at that, you're gonna fall behind either way. The smartest thing to do is not being stubborn as fuck, seeing how you can utilize this and also utilize it. Nowadays, time and just time efficiency is like the most important thing. Hey, work smart, not hard, and yada yada. Yeah. I know it's hard to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow for sure. Some photography jobs might even disappear, you know. A lot of people might go, oh, let's go Midjourney and find our images there. Also happening a lot with video right now. I'm not sure which program what program what the name of the program is, but there's a sort of software that's also doing video stuff. And I just want to end it with this because I felt so weirded out with this. There was a YouTuber who was very young. That sounded really smart. Smart to the point where it's like, oh, this can come from a 30-year-old when it comes to experience and stuff. He's talking about video editing. And something crossed my mind where I'm like, is this scripted by ChatGPT? Or is he actually, is this his own experiences and talking? Like, because a lot of this is like, yeah, you seem too young to sort of know some of these things, or just explaining some of these things. More specifically, was another thing where it's like, it was a video about life, and for me, if something is made by AI, automatically, I feel like it is maybe 50-50 here. If something that makes you feel is made by an AI, I feel robbed and lied to from those feelings. If a great piece of music was made with AI instead of a person who's lived life with experiences and is telling a story with it instead of with the use of a keyboard, you feel robbed of it. You can, it's hard to distinct it to some degree. You can, but you feel robbed. I feel robbed. And I feel like, you know what? Okay, take those, I want to take these feelings back. Well, to some degree, it diminishes because if it's a great piece of work, then I feel that to some degree you think of the person making it. At least I do, or at least I can relate to something. Maybe this is not for that, like everyone feels this way. I'm questioning it a little bit myself, but it says something about the person making it. If a robot made it, then if you haven't experienced it and you're making this piece of work and art, is it more fiction then? People can feel about fiction and stuff, but there's also like a bottom line story of whether that's Hercules and Disney or whatever. Even though it's animated or whatever, there's people behind it. There's not like, even if it's just generated with animation or whatever, there's still people putting in work. There's people adding their flair to it. That matters. Saying that it doesn't matter, and also feeling you're getting emotionally attached to something that isn't real and that's artificial, I feel like that can be very dangerous. It's just a time when it's going to be a time where, people are going to have robot wives or husbands, and there's also people falling in love with AI characters or animated characters. What do you call them? Weebs or whatever? I'm not sure, but one foot on the ground, please. And that's coming from a person who was way up in the clouds in his head and came down a little bit. And hitting what's called reality again, crashing down. Let me tell you from experience, that's not fun. So, one foot on the ground, okay? Stay to some degree realistic, aim high. Of course, whenever you say stay realistic, it feels like you're saying, hey, give up. Where it's also important to say, hey, fucking, if you believe in it, do it, dream it, but also make it. Don't be a lazy son of a bitch, because I've got experience from that as well. That's not fun. And then you're imagining things. Then you're, as I talked about before, you're imagining things and visualizing and having high expectations of something you haven't even created yet. And then when you get down to it and creating it, you're starting questioning, and then you get afraid. I am not afraid of it. I've definitely built it up, hyped it up. Let's see where it goes. It's gonna go there. We're gonna put it out, 100%. Gonna put in the work. See how it goes. Yeah. Can't promise recordings of like this each week, but I'm gonna be more active in the podcast form, even on YouTube. That's something I want to do. And even spicing up a little bit with more, with like editing and stuff like that. Because right now, let's face it, there's probably value in what I'm saying, but if that not being met with visuals and highly skilled editing and stuff, the chances is that not a lot of people will watch this. But hey, we'll see. All right. Okay. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.